Welcome to Missouri Sports Talk. I'm your host, Cameron Staley. Today I'm here with
Easton Amelia.
Easton. We got some more painting happening still this whole entire week. So anybody that missed Tuesday's episode, we said that this week gotten some housework going on. So there may be some rustling in the background. Don't worry about that. So today we're going to the Royals game. We are filming at 9 p.m. Come on, 9 a.m. It is currently 9:01. We're going to try to get out of here by 10, so we're going to talk for 15 minutes. I'm going to edit, and then we're going to skedaddle. So, Royals game, and then we're going to Staley versus Platte County. So,
Should be a good one.
I'm pretty excited for today. So, let's go ahead and get to it. Class 4, we'll start off with Seneca and Stratford. That game is tomorrow. I think Stratford wins this game, Easton. They are scoring 8.1 runs a game. And they already beat Seneca, if I'm not wrong, this season. I think it was back on March 29th. They won 6-3.
Yeah, this game's going to come down to the bats. I think both pitching staffs have allowed runs since earlier in the year. They both average about 2.8 runs per game. And I feel like if you're around that 3 mark, that's where the bats come into effect, and you have to have bats to win.
Logan Rogersville versus Summit Christian is also on Friday. This is the Class 4 game of the week, I think. I believe Logan Rogersville will win this one. They've had probably the toughest schedule in Class 4, if we're going to be honest. Maybe I'm snubbing somebody here. I think they play the toughest schedule. They hold wins over Blair Oaks, the defending state champions in Class 4, and Class 5, Springfield Catholic. I think Logan Rogersville is pretty legit this year. They should be able to make a Final Four run.
Yeah, I think Logan Rogersville has a really tough schedule, and that battle testing will help them win these big games with teams that have solid records.
Nevada versus Bolivar. This one's really interesting. Nevada's kind of slipping right now. They're sitting 500 ball. I thought they'd be doing a little bit better. So I will take Bolivar. They're sitting at 7-1 currently. They're scoring 9.4 runs a game, and they're 7-3 against Nevada since 2015.
Yeah, Bolivar's a solid team, and they're yet to lose to actually a Missouri team. All their wins have came in Missouri, one in Arkansas, and then they had a loss in Arkansas as well. So I feel like they're able to continue that streak of winning in Missouri.
Moberly versus Chillicothe. This one is on the 14th, I believe. I really like how Moberly looks this year. I do. I think in this current moment, they are the number 1 team in Class 4. They're sitting at 10-2. Their losses, they did suffer a run rule to Rockbridge, who's a really good baseball team in Class 6. And then they lost in extras 1-0 against Boonville. Boonville's off to a really hot start this year as well. Chillicothe, they're 9-1 this year, but I just don't think that they really compete with Moberly. Moberly scoring 8.3 runs a game. And I just keep going back to that 8-4 win against Southern Boone. I was at that game, and Jackson Engel was on the mound, and he also hit a home run in that one at the plate. So I think he's a really good baseball player. I don't know if he'll be pitching this one. I feel like he doesn't really have to. The pitching staff's been playing really well. Like, if you go through their Misha schedule, you can't even tell which ones he's pitching, and that's really important when you don't even know when the ace is showing. So I think Moberly has this one.
Yeah, that's always a big thing when you can't tell, because that means when you do get in the postseason, you can go 3-4 in the pen if you have to. If you get into an extra inning tight game, or say someone doesn't have it early on, you have to immediately go. But before I really give the props to Moberly, which they deserve, Chillicothe has been impressive. I was not expecting this season from Chillicothe, as they had 13 total wins last year. They have 9 as of now, and when you just have that rebuild, I feel like this is big for them. I think this is a big stepping stone for them if they're able to win this. I personally don't think they will. I'm going to take Moberly. They've had really tough games against solid teams, and they continue to win and stay up to the task.
Tolton versus Boonville. This one is on the 15th. Boonville, they're off to a hot start, like I said. And Tolton, they're 6-1-1. That one is a tie from a tournament. They don't go extra innings in tournaments normally. So, Tolton, they've got a pretty record, but I feel like Boonville's got this one, if we're going to be honest. The Pirates, they're 5-1 against Tolton since 2015. And like I said, they beat Moberly 1-0 in extras. I think they can win this one.
Yeah, Father Tolton had a close game against St. Francis Borgia, 5-4. They're a really good team. But Boonville, they're playing hot baseball. They've won in every kind of way. They won a blowout if they can have to hit the bats will swing and they'll score those runs necessary, and they'll also blow out teams. And those are all big things to win a pitcher's duel, blowout, and a high-scoring game. If they can continue that, they can make a run in the postseason.
I'm not 100% certain how to say this school. I think it's
Duchesne?
Okay. Duchesne, they are hosting Vianney. Vianney, I think they are in the runnings for the Class 5 state championship this year. They're 10-0 right now. I think they win this one on the road. I think this is actually a neutral site. They're playing in like Bridgerton or something is what I saw, if that's a place in Missouri. Vianney's scoring 8.2 runs a game, and they're only allowing 1.2. So, I mean, this is a really legit team. Willard is their competition in Class 5.
Yeah, Vianney's really good. They're exceptionally good. 1 run, putting up 8 on average. That margin right there is enough for me to give them the win.
Class 5, Springfield Catholic versus Forsyth is where we will start off. That game is tonight. I'm going with Springfield Catholic here. They played a tough schedule to start off, and they hold wins against Stratford and Blair Oaks. So I feel like Springfield Catholic has this one.
Yeah, Forsyth coming off their first loss against Fairgrove in 14 innings. That's 2 games. So I feel like they come out firing it back in the win column against Springfield Catholic.
Willard versus Rockbridge. This one is, Saturday the 12th at 11 a.m. I like how Willard's looking this year. I like how Rockbridge is looking this year. But I will go with Willard. They're the home team. I think that could play into it a little bit. Willard's scoring 8.6 runs a game. And they hold the win against Nixa this year, who is kind of the hunted in the Springfield area. So, I mean, Nixa is just so good. If you're able to beat them, I think you can beat just about anybody. So,
yeah, Willard's a dominant team. Rockbridge, they just split with Jefferson City. They hit early Jordan Martin, I guess, apparently really well. So maybe that's a situation where the harder velo actually helps them. I know Willard has a couple of guys that can get it up there. So I will take Willard in this one.
Carl Junction versus Ozark on the 14th. I like Ozark a lot this year. They're looking really good. They're scoring 8.3 runs a game. They're 6-1 against Carl Junction since 2017, so I think they continue to build on that.
Yeah, Carl Junction's bats have won them most of their games. Both teams have really high runs allowed per game, so it's going to come down to whoever can kind of make the easy plays defensively, but I am going to take Carl Junction here.
John Burroughs versus Lutheran South is our next one. This one is happening on the 15th. I'm going to go with Burroughs. They're kind of impressing me this year. They split with MICDS, who is, they're really recognized in the state for how good they are. Burroughs is scoring 7.1 runs a game on average. They are 8-21 against Lutheran South since 2010. That's not a good record, but 5 straight wins. So they were 3-21. So I think they continue to build on that. I think we'll see them at 9-21 after this game.
Yeah, as you noted, John Burroughs split with a really talented MICDS team, and I feel like that's going to carry them. Lutheran South coming off a 3-game losing streak, and before they even face John Burroughs, they have a tough battle versus Vianney and St. Francis Borgia, so not a cupcake of a schedule right before you have to face a really tough opponent.
Jefferson City versus Battle on April 15th. I'm going to go with the Jays here. I'm going to assume this is going to be Jordan Martin, which means that Battle will probably throw Ty Putnam, the Tennessee commit, out there. So this is going to be a massive pitcher's duel. The thing about it, though, the Jays, they're scoring 10.8 runs per game on average, which is absolutely insane. And they do hold the matchup history since Battle was created, I believe, back in 2013-14. But since 2014, they're 6-4 against the Spartans, so I think they get another win.
Yeah, Jefferson City coming off that split that I talked about, Rockbridge, but Battle on a 3-game winning streak. They split with Elias, and their pitching staff shut down the bats of Capital City. They swept them, and they didn't even get up a run, so I feel like that pitching staff will propel them to this win against Jefferson City.
Smithville versus Lee Summit is where we'll end it off here for Class 5. I'm going to go with the home team here, Smithville. These are 2 really good baseball teams. But Smithville, I mean, they're scoring 9.4 runs per game on average. If you're scoring nearly 10 runs a game, You got some really good bats on the team. They hold a 7-1 win over Kearney this year. I know Kearney's kind of slipping a little bit, but Kearney and Smithville, that's a really massive rivalry. I see a lot of that on social media, a lot of trash talk between those two schools. So that's a really massive win to hold this season for Smithville. I think they continue to build. They're on a really nice streak right now.
So I'm going to go kind of the opposite way. He said that they had really good hitting. Well, I'm going to focus on their pitching. They've allowed 1 or less runs in 5 of their 8 games on this 8-game winning streak, and that's just kind of incredible to think about. So I will take Smithville.
All right, Class 6 now. So we're getting towards the end of the video here. Staley and Platte County, this is the game that we'll be at tonight. This is also the Class 6 game of the week. I failed to mention Willard and Rockbridge was our Class 5 game of the week. Staley is definitely my pick here. I mean, they're scoring 6.3 runs a game. They're playing some tough teams, and they're beating them all. I mean, they're undefeated, obviously. So they're 13-3 against Platte County since 2010. I believe they'll make that 14-3.
Yeah, Staley, an undefeated team, has shut down their opponents, which has led to the success. So I think they're able to take down a very solid Platte County team.
Truman versus Blue Springs South. This one is tomorrow, Friday, April 11th. Truman, I mean, they're playing really good this year, but, man, Blue Springs South kind of looks like a buzzsaw, if we're going to be honest. They're scoring 5.6 runs a game, and they've got some really impressive wins like Nixa, as we had talked about earlier. And we'll also talk about them later, as you see on the scoreboard.
Blue Springs South, I'll take them. They both have a common opponent. They both beat Summit West. And Blue Springs won 10, while Truman won 6-0. So I feel like they both can have the ability to shut out each other. But I think that offense of Blue Springs South will be tough to stop.
April 14th, we've got Fort Zumwalt West versus North Point. I'm taking West here. They're coming off a win against Francis Howell, who's actually ranked nationally. So they have lost twice to Howell, I believe is what you told me earlier. So they're 1-2 against Howell this year. Those are their only 2 losses. They're 10-2 right now. They are scoring 9.8 runs a game. That's pretty damn good. So I'm going to go with the Jaguars.
Well, when you say you've played Francis Howell 3 times already, I feel like that strength of schedule is already there. So I feel like them being battle-tested against a really good team already, I think that helps them the rest of the way of the season. But I will take them against North Point right here.
Oakville versus Lafayette Wildwood. This one is on April 14th as well. I'm going to go with the road team here. Give me Lafayette Wildwood. They're scoring 9.1 a game, and they're 13-3 against Oakville since 2010, so it's just kind of domination at this point.
Yeah, Lafayette Wildwood's been dominant at the plate, 5+ runs in 7 of their 8 games this year. I feel like their bats propelled them to this victory.
All right, coming near the end here, Carthage is hosting Nixa. This one is April 15th. Obviously, I'm going with Nixa. This is a crazy baseball team. They've got 3 losses this year to all really tough baseball teams. They're 15-3 against Carthage since 2010. So, like I said in the last one, I think domination continues.
Yeah, Nixa lost back-to-back, but they did have a 9-game winning streak, and during that streak, they won with bats and pitchers duels, so I feel like they're able to take Carthage down.
All right, last game of the day, Lindbergh versus Marquette. This one's also on the 15th. Lindbergh scored an 8.1 a game. They're looking really good this year. Pitching-wise, defense-wise, 1.9 runs allowed per game. They're looking really good. I think that they could make a run, potentially.
Yeah, Lindbergh, when your margin, like that spread from pitching to hitting 6 or plus, I feel like that is just amazing to see, and I feel like they're able to beat Marquette here, and I feel like they get it done.
All right, that's all we got for today. I'm going to speed run this edit, and then we're going to go up to a Royals game, and then Staley versus Platte County. If you're watching this on Thursday, you will see that game on Friday. So that's all we got for today. It's been Missouri Sports Talk. See you next time.